Hi, Patty. It's so
Hey,
nice to see you. How's it going?
good. Thanks for talking to me.
I mean, thanks for talking to me. I've been a fan of your work for some time, and I think I want to start by just asking you when you got the script for this movie, The Lost City of D. What exactly did you think the D stood for?
To be honest, I thought it stood for dick
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the honesty because that's what I thought this movie was going to be about.
or
And I'm
dong
glad that what or
or
dog
dong,
dong. Yeah.
maybe dildo. Probably less likely dildo. Well,
Yeah.
I guess it would be dildos. It wouldn't, because then it would be Lost City of the D. So I think Lost City of dildos, if it's pluralized, is better.
Yeah, that is better. Yeah, and I have to say I appreciate that the movie did lean into the D, the dong, the dick, the dildo. Not so much the dildo, but definitely there's a couple dick jokes in
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of cut scenes with a ton of dildos. There's too many
it.
dildos on
And
that
those
set.
are all with you or you and Channing.
Me and yeah, it will. There was one with me because it's like my character. Got cut from the movie, but my character was like a master in combat with like tonfas, but then there weren't tonfas available, so she wields two giant dildos, and it's really a lot of work. I took about 4 months of martial arts classes to learn how to use tonfas correctly, and they cut it because of dildos.
That's a shame. Yeah, our society is just not ready for something as brave
Doesn't that
as that.
suck?
Yeah.
Doesn't that suck?
Listen,
Our society's not ready.
I would. It does suck, yeah. But you know what? Like in a different universe, perhaps that movie will exist. Maybe 20 years from now, when we've made even more progress than we already have.
Yeah, and
With-
Elle Fanning's like granddaughter is like doing flips and throwing dildos, and they're like going through people's heads. It's like that's the movie that I want to see.
I love that. I love that Elle Fanning is your go-to.
Oh yeah, she's always in my mind.
Now I don't know how to be serious. There's probably no way to be serious here, but I do want to ask, I do want to ask you whether or not, like, when you were younger, if queer romance novels or just romance novels in general were something that you read, since this movie is about a romance novel.
Not at all. I didn't, I never read a lot, and I never really read um, outside of like what was required of me for school. I don't think I'm learning. I used to feel really guilty about not reading books specifically. I think there's a culture around shaming people who don't read books. I just don't absorb information that way. A lot of the stories that I absorb are like visual. So I loved like movies and video games and TV and whatever. Or like maybe that makes me stupid, but I watched a lot of romantic movies and TV shows, but as far as like novels go, I think I remember reading in school like Tess of the D'Urbervilles, and I think that is like a rapey book. It like opens with like a sexual assault. So that's
Yeah.
kind of like the only book that comes to mind actually.
And then no more books for you after that.
After what if I the only book I've ever read was Tess of the D'Urbervilles? That's the one book.
I would have a lot more questions than I could ask you in these 15 minutes that we have right now.
I would think I should be studied by science if that were the case in that hypothetical world. Yeah.
Well, if there was a queer romance novel based on your life, um, what might it be called? And who would be your cover model for it?
Well, I did get asked this question earlier today, but I think it's probably for a publication that wouldn't use it, wouldn't hear what I said.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
We've already talked about dildos and dong.
because my answer when asked what the title of my like romance novel would be, it would be uh oh, is there poop?
Yeah, I think if we're going to talk about things that we should be talking more about, poop is one of them.
Can we pause while I rinse?
Why pause?
Yeah.
But
Can we pause? I need to
I think
rinse.
we just if and wait, so okay, then who is on the cover of this book?
Uh,
Like, it doesn't have to be with you. Perhaps they're just two people that you really enjoy that you think could um, really give this book the feeling that you want to give it.
well, I don't think I would be on the cover of it, right? It would be two people that I think would. I think it would be um my my mom um and uh my fourth grade teacher who's my mentor, and they're just kind of doing like a thumbs up, and it's like
Yeah.
they're doing a thumbs up through like a foggy window. They're standing outside of a window, and then you see the crest of someone's butt,
Yeah, that's
and that's the
beautiful, actually.
protagonist's butt. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. There's more, and that would there would be more explained in the book, I promise. It seems like
And again, I have
random.
at least 250 follow-up questions. But the thing that I really want to ask you is, did it hit you while you were making this movie as a social media manager, the sort of like irony that you in real life are probably not cut out to maybe be that based on the fact that you've been banned from Twitter?
I mean, I definitely think that uh there are there's some irony there. I every day am waiting for my Instagram account to be deleted against my will. Probably for the best, but now that Instagram's like terms and conditions have changed and they like auto go through and will flag photos, I get maybe like once a week I get like a new photo flagged, and it's always like a post from like 2013, and it'll be like a photo of me being like, I love this bitch, and it'll be like me and my friend, and then it'll be flagged for bullying and harassment because I called my friend a bitch. And I was like, well, my whole Instagram page is me being like, love this stupid ugly fucking slut. And I'm like, well, I guess if that's bullying and harassment, then I'm not fated for Instagram anymore.
Yeah, well, but you can play a fictional one, I guess, in a movie like you have, right? But you know, we can't do it all in real life.
Yeah, I
But
think that's the spice of life is when we learn that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that might be actually why you got this role. Is that true? Is there any truth to the fact that they were like, "Oh, we should hire Patti Harrison because um,
I
she had."
think I
Yeah.
think social media has had a big part in my career success, which has been great. I also think social media has like evolved. So the version of it we have now is like mainly a shopping platform. So I don't think social media is intrinsically bad, but I think we've made it bad because it's a corporatized like shopping marketplace now. But yeah, I think that I don't remember exactly what like Adam and Aaron or Sandy or like what they said why they specifically wanted me for the part other than they like saw me and thought I was funny. And I think that's probably like in other things I've been cast in, it's usually because of like stupid videos or something I made on Instagram. But I haven't really
Yeah.
done that in a while. So
Or Together Together, which was one of my favorite movies of last year.
thank
Um,
you. That's really
oh
nice.
yeah, yeah. I loved it so much that I tried to talk to you then, so I'm happy that I get to tell you now how much I loved it.
Wow.
And I just wept during most of it. You know, it's a beautiful film. My question about that film is, how major did it feel to be part of a film like it, where you, as a trans actress, is playing a surrogate? There was a lot of conversation around that, and how I'm not even sure that that's ever happened before in a movie, and how it felt pretty groundbreakingly important casting wise.
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely thought about that stuff of in terms of the, what that meant and the optics of it. And if, I had so many conversations with Nicole about the optics, or like if it was like stunt casting or whatever. But it really did feel like something I just never thought I was going to get to do. And I tried not to overload it um, in playing the role, like bring too much of that into it. I think what was really nice is that Nicole was so present. Nicole Beckwith, who like wrote and directed it, she was so present with like making sure I felt prepared and like knew what was going on in like each scene and like where my character was in her pregnancy and stuff like that. And it, I think, helped me get out of my head. I think it was helpful to be out of my head and not think about uh, kind of the politics of what it means. Because, you know, my whole thing when we were filming, that I was like, oh my gosh, are people gonna be like staring at my Adam's apple? Are people gonna be like, is this something that I'm gonna deal with this other like a level of like turf scrutiny or something that would be really emotionally painful to endure? But ultimately, it's been like an incredible gift in my life. This is the only thing that I'll ever earnestly talk about is that movie, because it was so, it just felt so special. And it was like, yeah, it was so insanely wonderful experience. And Nicole's like one of my closest friends now, which is really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. As a queer person myself, I try not to overthink it, but oftentimes it's hard for me not to, just because I'm always looking for us to be represented, right? And us to be visible.
Yeah, I think we're in a really interesting uh I think, you know, speaking of social media, I feel like there is like an overcorrection or overemphasis, like I don't know, people in development and TV like stumbling over themselves to like be inclusive in a way that I think can sometimes be minimizing to uh like the creator or the artist or writer, whoever's trying to make a project, if that person is marginalized in any way, and if that marginalization is like queer, then, you know, I in an ideal world that person could just make whatever they want. But I think what's stressful about it is that in a zeitgeist that's like trying to, people are trying to who aren't queer, who aren't marginalized, who are like in these gatekeeping positions, are trying to figure out a way to capitalize on queerness, or like the interest in it, the more mainstream interest in it. And it can feel very like minimizing when the only stories they want to tell are like these, you know, the only art or work they want to see from you as like a queer person is stuff about being queer. And they're not,
Yeah.
you know, it's like my sense of humor as a comedian has really been uh, not about that, but it has kind of like pivoted into that, because I feel like I have to, I'm like approached about being trans so much that it's like made me a little resentful that I'm like, oh, I see comedians who are peripheral to me, who aren't queer, who aren't getting like, you know, they can make a TV show about whatever they want. But
Yeah.
and when they take these meetings, but when I take a meeting, it's like they don't want to hear my idea about, you know, Elle Fanning with dildos. They want to hear about me, like a biopic about me coming out to my mom and her struggling with it or something like that. It's pretty.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I'm like rambling, but
No, this is, I know, I appreciate you taking me down that path, because I think your answer is really thoughtful and important. And I just want to say, because they're giving me the rap, that it is nice to see you and Bowen Yang in Lost City, where you can just be funny.
yeah, it was it having Bowen shot like the last week I was there, pretty much, and it was like the perfect little ending to the trip. We had like golf carts where we were saying, it was so much fun. I wish he would have been there the whole time. It made me want to like work with him on something,
Yeah,
on for because it was just
you
really
need to.
fun.
I
Yeah.
think it's the poop book, or the
Yeah,
Bill.
where we have unsimulated sex. There's like a movie with a bunch. It's like very was it Gaspar Noé or whatever, Yeah, a lot of penetration. Me and Bowen, really close friends, just like really screwing for art. I think that's really powerful. That's representation.
Yeah. Okay, you got to go to a round table to telling me. So thank you so much. It was really delightful to talk to you.
They did not tell me the table was round. They told me it was rectangular. Krista? No. Thank you so much.